So I'm turning this into this. I'm sure it'll be fine. Hey everyone, I'm Axel Cannon, and this is Stupid Game Experiments. The project I'm working on right now is based on Extreme Warehousing, which is a 2D game created by Zane Black for the December completion game jam. Zane has a YouTube channel called Let's Talk Game Design, and it's pretty good. I'd recommend you check it out, but he has way more viewers than I do, so you should go check out his channel and leave a comment telling him to promote my channel instead. I'll put a link to his video for Extreme Warehousing in the description to make this easy for you. So basically the goal of Extreme Warehousing is to push the colored blocks into the matching colored areas. There's enemies that make this more difficult by pushing your blocks around, but you can't die. Instead, you just play until you get fed up and quit. I thought to myself, I can work with that, and decided to make a similar game in 3D. The key mechanic I'm working with is the ability to pick things up and throw them. To accomplish this, I'm using the Pick Up Plus Inspect asset from the Unreal Asset Store. Right now I'm using it as is, but eventually I'll modify it so that once you pick something up, you can't move. This way you'll have to throw whatever you pick up rather than carrying it around, making things more challenging. I'm also adding different object types besides just blocks. So far I've added spheres because they roll and may bounce by the time I'm done. For right now I'm using this planets asset for the materials just to make those spheres more interesting. We'll see if I stick with it once I get to the final aesthetic. Eventually I plan to add 2 other objects that use ragdoll physics, but that's a story for a future devlog. The key problem with being able to throw things is that you can literally just chuck them all the way off the map. So the first thing I had to do was create an enclosed level. It's just built out of a bunch of planes, which works for now, but I may end up changing that later too. Next I created the colored goal area. Right now I just have a blue one for the spheres, but I'll make different colored ones for each of the different objects. I also need to create a new mesh for the goal because right now the color disappears if you step inside it. Next up was the enemies. The first enemy I created was a simple turret that shoots fireballs that explode. This actually turned out pretty cool and was pretty easy to make. The mesh for the cannon comes from this space station asset pack. The flames on the projectile come from this VFX asset pack, and the explosion is caused by a grenade from this asset pack that I just set to immediately explode when it was spawned. Of course, none of this does any damage to you. It just knocks you and other objects around, making it harder to get things where they need to go. My second enemy was this drone I got from this service drone asset pack. The drone shoots out a steady stream of balls that knock whatever they hit around. As you can see, the drone is stationary right now, but in theory, it will one day fly gloriously through the air while pelting you in the face with steel balls. That brings us to the bug stage of this discussion. The reason the drone is stationary was because I tried getting this 3D navigation plugin working and ended up with this. I have a guess at what the problem is, but I have to redo a bunch of code to test that theory out. The other major bug sort of just came out of nowhere. Something is causing physics objects to just shoot off in random directions. This is actually funny enough that I'd be tempted to just leave it in. Unfortunately, they have a tendency to shoot through the walls, which basically breaks the game, so I guess I'll have to figure out a way to fix it. This bug also happened where I just randomly ended up floating on the wall because I got shot there. I don't know. This is part of the reason why I'll probably have to replace all the planes as walls for the level. But those are problems for future me. Right now, if you put it all together, you basically end up with this insanity. And that's where the game stands right now. But I literally add something new to this game every single day. 6 days a week, I do a 1-minute devlog on whatever I've added that day. Those devlogs are actually made to be YouTube shorts, and I'm experimenting with the formula for them still. The last couple of weeks, I just compiled them all into this weekly recap. However, this week they weren't as devloggy. I guess that's a word now. So I did this long-form devlog instead. If you want to check out the 1-minute devlogs, I will put a link to the playlist in the description. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.